fruit. Really simple to prepare if you break it down into stages. I'm starting by making the fruit mousse filling. For that, I place 4 leaves of gelatine into cold water. While they're softening up, I pour some frozen fruit into a pan along with a splash of water. We can actually mash this around a bit to get plenty of flavour out. As it comes to the boil, I'm adding some cassis. Just a little drizzle. Now stick everything in a blender. After a couple of minutes, the puree is ready to pass through a sieve. You don't need a cloth for this, just through a nice fine sieve. Now put it back on the heat and add the softened gelatine. You need to warm the mixture up, otherwise it won't dissolve the soaked gelatine. Just warming it through. And once you don't see any gelatine in there, you can take it off the heat. And while that's cooling down, I'm going to make the next part of the mousse filling, Italian meringue. Start off by heating up some sugar and water in a pan. This has to be brought to an exact temperature, so you'll need a sugar thermometer. There's no real way of testing otherwise, because boiling water boils at 100 degrees. When you put sugar in it, it keeps increasing the temperature. So you want to get to what they call soft ball, which is about 120-ish degrees centigrade. As soon as you get near the magic number, put 2 egg whites into a bowl and start mixing. As they whisk up, pour the hot sugar solution slowly and steadily into the bowl. As soon as the sugar hits the egg white, it starts to fluff up. And this is exactly how you make marshmallow, just with the addition of gelatine. When the Italian meringue is done, swap the bowls over and whip up the last part of the filling, some double cream. There's no need to worry about washing the whisk, it all gets mixed in together anyway. Now the key to this is to make sure the cream is the same consistency as the whipped egg white, so not over whipped, otherwise it splits in the mixture. Now you can bring all the elements of the mousse filling together. Start by mixing the cooled fruit puree into the Italian meringue. Then add the softly whipped cream. With the mousse filling done, I can begin building the délice, starting with the base. To save time, I basically just use a bought-in sponge. And all you do with this is just cut out the base, like that. Better save this, otherwise my auntie will be on the phone, whinging. You can use that for trifle. And then we want a nice thin piece of sponge. Now, I mean thin piece of sponge, not a massive, great, inch-thick piece of sponge. It's got to be nice and thin. Place 1/2 of this sponge back inside the mould that you cut it with earlier. Now, always do this on the same serving platter that you're going to serve it in. This is not a dessert that you want to be transferring around the kitchen and wandering around with. And then grab some more cassis. Just a little drizzle over the top. Now pour in the mousse filling. Look at the colour of that. Beautiful. Remember, this is just with frozen fruit. Don't forget to leave a little bit of space for the jelly topping. Then pop it in the fridge for a couple of hours to set. While that's happening, I can make the clear fruit jelly for the top. Start by softening 3 leaves of gelatine in cold water. Then put a bit of water into a pan and add some frozen blackberries and blueberries. And then we're going to add the sugar. You can make this with fresh or frozen berries, it's entirely up to you. The thing about frozen berries is that they're available. As the mixture comes to the boil, add some cassis and keep it on the heat for a few minutes. Then take it off the stove and sieve the mix. It's always good to put it through a cloth. You can use a tea towel, but it kind of wrecks a tea towel. Now it's really important not to press this through at this stage. If you press it through, the jelly just ends up being cloudy. By now the gelatine's softened, so you can add it to the warm fruit liquid. It'll start dissolving immediately. If you mix all this lot together, you end up with this beautifully clear jelly like that. Now don't cheat and buy that ready-made jelly. Make your own. Leave this to cool down slightly, by which time the mousse will have set in the fridge. Time to take it out and carefully spoon the jelly liquid over the top. Then put it back in the fridge for a final couple of hours. That gives me time to get Ralph smartened up for tonight's celebrations. Right, New Year and a party. How cool is this? That is proper smart. Happy with that? Oh, come on, Ralph. Cheer up a bit. We have the party of the year later. Anyway, the delice will have set by now. And this is what you end up with. The rewards for all your effort. It's amazing mirrored delice on the top. Now you can decorate this just quite simply. I've got some figs, a little bit of fresh raspberries, a little bit of mint. Now you're probably wondering how on earth you're going to get it out of the mould. You can do this with a warm cloth around the edge, but then you've got to clean the plate. The easiest way to do it is get one of these for Christmas. This comes free with a mask. When you're not using it, you can sort your car out with it as well. You go around the edge of the mould. The heat loosens the mousse just enough for the ring to be lifted clean off.